Welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. My name is Dona Kappmeyer, and I'm the CEO and firm owner of KAPPital Game Plan Consulting and Action Coach in South Texas. And I am going to be your host for today. I am very excited to have our special guest, Jason Eller. Jason is the inventor, founder, and CEO of Strike Coach here in Cibolo, Texas. Today, we're going to speak with Jason about his journey to get to where he's at today and the challenges and successes of owning and operating a business. If this is your first time on our channel, please be sure to like and subscribe so you can see our content when we publish new information. Well, Jason, welcome to the show. It is awesome to have you on today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Donna. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is going to be fun, 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 fun.
Oh yeah. No, well, I enjoyed our prior discussion, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, great. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. We typically open up these podcasts with talking about how the business is structured. So let's
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that. How is your business structured?
We are a C Corp. We did it through a conversion. We were originally an LLC and converted to a C Corp. And that was a few months ago. And we have general counsel. We have a lawyer on the team, and he structured all of that.
Very good. And you in this role, is it just you? Do you have a lot of people in the management staff? What does that look like?
So we have a team of 11 people. That includes advisors, but I would say there's a core six of us.
Okay.
So that would include our CTO, Chris Brown. He takes care of all the software side of things. Our chief product officer, Jason Harrison. Neil Brown, he does a lot of the manufacturing and assembly currently for us. And then Tommy, who I was talking to you about, the dog lover, he's our CXO. So he's basically the liaison between like the Strike Coach team, the our founders, and Strike Coach users. Again, because we're a product that's built off of customer feedback, and that's based off of the team that we have. We can build what the customers want, and that's what we've done. And Tommy is essential to making that happen.
Well, fantastic.
And,
Well, let's talk about Strike Coach. So when I first saw the name, I'm like, what is that? That could be a
and,
lot of different things.
and you know what? Real quick, let me rewind because I'm leaving two people out. Our
All
co-founder,
right.
Jason Harrison, I should not leave him out. And then my parents, Ginny and Brad Eller, they were the initial investors who really took the risk, and they retired from the post office and FedEx, so not wealthy people, and they were all in on this as well.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. Very good. Well, thank you for bringing, and they're going to be happy that they got included, I'm very sure.
Yeah, no,
Otherwise,
well, yeah,
you would have heard about it.
right. No, it's hard. I'm trying to name everyone like on the fly, so you know how it is.
Yeah, of course. So, Strike Coach, let's talk about Strike Coach. What exactly is Strike Coach?
So we're a product-based company. Strike Coach is our flagship patented product. So what it is, it's the first force detecting training mannequin. So it's super interactive. It's the only product where the end user has to think and react to what the product is doing. The reason for that is we have patented custom mechanics that cause the mannequin to move, which manipulates the user's footwork. So they got to keep the mannequin in front of them as they're landing strikes on a moving target. And then the mannequin detects and records the strikes landed in real time. We have our Strike Coach app that we built so they can see their punches and punch stats in real time on the user dashboard. We also have TV integration. So some of the gyms that we're in will display the stats in real time as they're working out on TV. So everyone in the gym can see it.
So, where did the concept come from? How did this originate?
Well, it was kind of like a light bulb moment. I was training a guy. He was hitting the heavy bag. I used to be a certified personal trainer, and he
Okay,
was hitting the
awesome.
heavy bag. And he just asked, "Where am I hitting this thing?" So I just said, "Right about here's where the body would be. Here's where the head would be." And he asked, "Well, how hard am I hitting it?" And I said, "There's not really a metric for that." And the one line that stood out to me was, he said, "Don't you think that's a problem? It's kind of like a Ferrari without a speedometer, right? You really don't
Hmm.
know what you're doing." And I'm like, "You know what? You're right. That's true." So I went home, drew some informal drawings, came back to him. He was a medical doctor, ended up becoming my first mentor. Showed him the informal drawings. I said, "What do you think of this?" Which was, strike coach on paper. And he said, "I think you got $1 million idea." And then I was not a published technical writer. Went home, did the research, on how to write patents, draft a patent. Uh, didn't hire a lawyer to write the patent. I hired one to file the patent. So I did all the legwork, wrote it, and was issued all 25 claims that were written in the patent without ever being a published technical writer.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, it was exciting though to hold that in my hands. I mean, I have it framed upstairs, but yeah, a lot of work definitely went into that. And we kind of discussed all the applications, which is all written into the patent. So there's a lot of novel claims in there that are real broad.
So, do you have any competitors in this space, or is this something that's like relatively new? Let's talk about that.
So our competitors like Peloton, Fight Camp, maybe I shouldn't say their names, but and there's other ones, but their claim to fame is their interactive products. But
Hmm.
really, it's not real interaction. Without a TV screen there is no interaction. You're just hitting a standing bag if it's Fight Camp, or if it's Peloton, you're just riding a bike or running on a treadmill without the TV screen. Where with us, we're interactivity right out of the box. As soon as you turn this thing on, you're reacting and thinking and moving with it. And then it's providing you the data of your workout in real time. So that's the difference with us and our competitors. So there is nothing like it. We hold the patent to it. There's 25 claims in the patent, but I would say our closest competitors would be people like Peloton and Fight Camp.
Very good. So you've got some patents. Where are you in the process as far as who has access to your product? What stage are you in relative to your market, and who has access, who doesn't have access, and what's next for you?
Um, well, right now we're in the beta customer phase. So we
Okay.
have our units in gyms now. They're in 5 gyms. The whole design is the final design. The last piece, the only commercial off the shelf piece we're using is the mannequin, and we cut it open and put all of our, customizations in there. So we created the CAD design. We're finalizing our manufacturing agreement, and the mannequin is the last piece to have our final product. And then we're ready to enter the market. And we're entering right now, B2B with gyms. So, we kind of learned from the Peloton model. With them, they went straight to consumers. It was during COVID times, people weren't going to gyms.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've had a lot of issues. People have gotten seriously injured on this thing. So we went about it the opposite way. We went directly into gyms, wanted this thing to have industrial strength. It's been getting the crap beat out of it for years and years and years, and now we're comfortable bringing it and introducing it into homes. So we
Okay.
kind of went the different path and B2B first, but with the manufacturing agreement, we're ready to go B2C, and that should be, within the first quarter of 2026.
That you're going to be going B2C first quarter of
Yes.
2026.
Yes, along
Awesome.
with B2B. And the gyms, the concept is proven. They love it. The gym users love it. It creates like a different kind of energy. You kind of just have to see it. Like when people are on this thing, they're getting cheered on. Like people are looking at the high score going up and up and up. And then the person's like, I got to beat your high score. And you don't see
Oh,
that with like any machine in the gym, really. So you got to really see the energy to experience it when people are on this thing. It's hard to explain.
so is it anything, like if to give our audience some maybe a little bit of a visual, if you go to the carnival and you got to punch that bag and it's, how hard do you punch it and you hit it wimpy, or is it anything,
You
compared
know,
from a competitive scoring?
I mean, yes, there's
Mm.
so the end user on the dashboard, what they see is the punch count, power measurement, and an overall high score. which is an
Okay.
arbitrary number. It's a multiplier of the first two. But what we found is the real data points, which are power measurement and punch count, most of the people actually aren't competing with that in the gyms. They're competing for the high score. So it kind of
Mm,
gamified the workout, which is interesting because when we initially did this, we were thinking like, oh, they're going to love seeing, which they do love seeing the data. But when there's a group of people, they're competing for high score, not power measurement. Usually, sometimes they do, one or the other or all three. But going back to the comparison, the punch ball that you're talking about, what I would compare it to is think of it as like a combat robot that or a robot that basically you can beat up that's a mannequin and it's telling you what you're doing basically, but it doesn't hit back. There's the interaction there though. It's moving, forcing you to move, you're hitting a moving target. It's not just hitting something and it's saying this is what you did.
that's fantastic. So being relatively, we're new in the space, we're launching the product, we're going to get ready to go B2C. There
Mhm.
had to be some hurdles along the way. So let's talk a little bit about the hurdles that you've had to overcome in this journey so far.
Yeah, no, well, like I said, going into this, I wasn't a published technical writer. I wasn't a product developer, but I wrote the patent, developed V1 prototype along with the co-founder, Jason Harrison, and then was working as a teacher as we built out the business. So, I mean, that in itself, it was nonstop for the past 5, 6 years, like, 12-hour days or longer. And then the hardest part of the journey is, I was diagnosed with MS, which I'm fine now. But about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, I became paralyzed from the shoulders down. I was
Mm.
teaching in class and I was kind of feeling symptoms and they were going to give me steroid shots and all that. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't get up from my chair. So some of my teaching friends had to carry me out of there. My wife comes, picks me up. I come home. The co-founder comes and he's like, "You may have to like go to a facility." I end up having to go to the hospital. I was there for like 2 months. Spent Thanksgiving there, all that. Went through intensive rehab as we were building out the company, built out the team from a hospital bedroom. And it took me about a year to get back to like, what I would consider normal for me. But I think that process, it made me, it sounds weird, but it made me super thankful though. Like I'm thankful to just take a step. I'm grateful and I understand what a good quality of life means and feels like. So I think it was, it gives me more drive. Like, and it makes me understand, I guess, how strong I am or can be when I need to be. But also understanding you can't do everything yourself. You need a team with you too. And we have the best team. Like we're lucky to have them.
Oh my goodness. Well said. Wow. What an amazing journey you've had so far and what you've had to overcome. That's pretty incredible.
Thank you, thank you. But yeah, like I said, I'm grateful and thankful to have the team around me I do, the family that I do. Like I said, we're talking to investors. My wife is holding the phone to my ear, having to be spoon fed. I
Oh, wow.
literally had to relearn how to do everything like a baby. I couldn't even wipe myself, none of that. So just, yeah, like I'm just super thankful and
Yeah.
grateful.
Well, we're happy that you're all better
Yeah.
and you're able to function in a really good way. So very thankful for that. My goodness. So let's talk about
Thank
future
you.
state. Where do you see Strike Coach being in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I would say, we want to build out our revenue. There's two reoccurring revenues for the company, and we want to be valued at a multi-billion-dollar company. I think we can do that. We have a subscription platform along with the Strike Coach units. So again, two reoccurring revenue models for the company. But
Okay.
the goal is we hope to be acquired within the next 4 to 5 years. And we have some good acquisition plays because of the IP we hold and how far ahead we are. Like no one's doing, what we're doing. And this is a product that the people want. When you see them in front of this, it's just again, the energy is just different.
What are some of the other benefits of this IP as it relates to, you and I kind of talked about the in the medical industry. What does that look like as it relates to contact sports?
Right. So we're entering the market as a fitness apparatus. So like that's one thing I want like all investors to understand while we're working the grant route. But on the patent side, the reason we're able to go the grant route on the medical side is because we hold claims in the patent that first off, there's a correlative formula written in there, which is a novel formula that allows us to correlate external forces and internal forces in a specific region of the brain called the corpus callosum. So the way that works is we have the mannequins that are meant for gyms with the foam heads. It still records the data from those heads, but the medical versions we embed a skull in the head that's made of unbreakable plastic, which is similar to the density of a human skull. It's just like those skeletons you see in medical school sometimes. So we embed that, and then in that skull, we make a brain mold made of a silicate. And then within that brain, we cut into a specific region of the brain, and that's where we embed our sensors. And we were awarded the right to establish our own trauma curves in all contact sports using the correlative formula, whether that be football and it's helmet to helmet, boxing, MMA, hockey, whatever. So the way it works is, let's say boxing, for example, we would have a sensor in the wrist of the glove, and you strike the mannequin several times in different areas of the head at different levels of force. And remember, it moves, it's robotic, so it's circling into your power, circling away. It mimics human like movements. And once you hit this thing several times at different levels of force and different levels, I mean, in different areas of the head, that's how we establish our trauma curves. So now the way that could be applied to the real world is now let's say me and you are in an actual fight and you're
Mm-hmm.
wearing a sensor in the wrist of your glove and you hit me in a certain area with a certain level of force, whether I'm circling into the power, circling away, we would look at the force in your glove, look at the motion of my head, and then we will be able to correlate that and have an estimate of the forces incurred in the corpus callosum region of my brain due to the trauma curves. So now we're able to measure what's called diffuse axonal injuries in real time. And this is all written in the patent. We hold the IP to all this. But
Wow.
now we can measure diffuse axonal injuries in real time. And the way CTE develops is both hemispheres of your brain are connected by hundreds of millions or maybe even billions of axons. Nobody really knows how many there are. But when you get struck from an external force, whether it's football, boxing, whatever, those axons tear and they never recover. So those are permanent injuries due to blunt force trauma. And when enough axons tear, that's when people develop CTE.
Mm.
And then you can't see that area of the brain, the corpus callosum region of the brain in an MRI or CAT scan. The brain has to be dissected. So we were awarded the right to do human studies using our trauma curves in the patent too. We were even in one of our claims awarded the right to do human studies. So, like, if someone was in the study, let's say a combat athlete, then we would, whether they're in training or competition throughout the span of their career, all the people they're facing would have the sensors in the wrist of their gloves.
Mm.
So then we would know damage incurred throughout the span of their career. And, when that athlete dies in the study and their brain is donated to the study or to science, we would dissect it and determine whether it had CTE or not. And if they do, we know how much damage was inflicted throughout the span of a career. And when you do that with enough people, you can establish a baseline as a preventative measure. And that's what we want to do on the medical side.
Very nice. My goodness, that's got to have a lot of benefits.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I think it's really game changing. I mean it's groundbreaking, and we hold the IP to it. And there's researchers out there trying to figure out like what does a diffuse axonal injury look like in real time. Well, we got it.
Wow. Wow. I'm so excited for you. So you're on a massive uphill scale, a quick scale, if you will, in the next, 30, 60, 90 days, and especially looking out 3 to 5 years where you
Hmm.
want to be.
Yep.
what are some things that we look out 3 to 5 years? What are maybe one or two or three milestones you're looking at that you can share with our audience to try to get you to that point?
I mean, if we could have between 500,000 and a million subscribers on the subscription fitness platform,
Mm-hmm.
um, that would bring us a revenue of $100 million annually, reoccurring revenue at $10 a month for the subscription platform for the end user. So if we can get to a million users for that, and if we can get into 20,000 gyms, and I would say we haven't really established a goal for the B2C, how many homes we would like to see, because we're kind of finalizing the manufacturing deal. But I kind of would have to talk about that with the team as well. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, for me personally, I mean, if we're in over 100,000 homes, 20,000 gyms, and a million subscribers on the fitness platform, I think we've achieved what we set out to, and it's time to search for acquisition. I mean, a lot of people are advising us you should go public with something like this. You hold the IP, but that's not really the play we're going for, really. So.
Very good. Very good. If you could give our audience, one or two key pieces of advice, what would you share with them?
I mean, for me personally, I would say don't start at the beginning and look at the finish line. You got to have incremental goals, work through them incrementally, and understand, where you want to be, what you need to do to get there, but knowing you have to do it incrementally. So, the top three or four things you want to accomplish every day, you do that every day, and you have a team of people doing that who are on your level. You're accomplishing a ton every single day. So I think that's like a key metric no one really talks about. And I think that's important to getting a lot of things done, especially for a product-based business.
You bet, man, that's fantastic advice because so often we're looking at the end game and we're like, it seems so overwhelming. But if you
Yeah.
just do those incremental improvements over time, they add up.
Yep. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, it's, you have your own goals and your people on the team, they have their own milestones and goals that they're hitting daily, weekly. I mean, it's just you're unstoppable. It's I always say like we move at warp speed every day. It's crazy. And we're lucky to have the people we do. Like I'm so thankful.
You bet. Is there anything else you would like to share with our audience today?
I mean, just like I said, don't give up. There's going to be trials and tribulations. Sometimes maybe even a black swan event, like things like COVID or being paralyzed from the shoulders down. Like things can happen. But when those things do happen, I think another thing people don't talk about, like, is if you're working on something big and you have big goals and you're facing a black swan event or something really bad, I think that gives you hope, and it's almost like a tool for healing in a way because you focus a lot of attention on the goal and achieving that end result as well.
You
So I
bet.
think, like I said, if you're facing hard times, something bad happens to you while you're in the process of doing something big, that's not the end. There's a like a quote that I really love. I heard it a while ago, but like if you feel like you've been buried, you've just been planted you know?
Yeah, that's
So,
very good.
so,
And when you get planted, if you water that
yep,
right, you're going to grow. Yeah,
exactly,
love it.
exactly. And then you're rooted, you're stronger. You come out a stronger, different, better version of yourself. Or, I know I did.
Of course, of course. Thanks for sharing that. And
Or,
Jason, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you and learn more about Strike Coach?
so my email is jason.eller@thestrikecoach.com. On LinkedIn, it's Strike Coach, all capital letters. And on Instagram, it's the Strike Coach, all with underscores. So it's the underscore strike underscore coach underscore. And Facebook, it's Strike Coach.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. Hey, Jason,
Of
thank you for
course.
sharing your story. This has been fantastic, and I know that our audience is going to find your information very valuable. We're excited about you bringing this to market. This is a Business Spotlight series with Dona Kappmeyer and with Jason Eller with Strike Coach. Please be sure to like and subscribe so you can continue to see our great content. Jason, thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you for having me. It was fun. I enjoyed it.